It is 12 noon. Welcome back in. This is Three Man Front on this Wednesday. Appreciate you joining us. Trey Wallace from Outkick will join the show coming up at 12:30. Next hour, Matt McLaren from The Ticket in Dallas, Texas, former teammate of ours here in Birmingham. He covers the big Red River rivalry coming up from the Cotton Bowl this weekend between Oklahoma and Texas. We wrapped up our previous hour, and if you're just now tuning in, I know we have a large audience that are going out to lunch right now. We appreciate you tuning in during your lunch hour. Want to tell you about the big story that we're following out of the state of North Carolina. There have been multiple Twitter reports that Bill Belichick has been fired at the University of North Carolina. Let me state that that has not been confirmed, and one of the major Tar Heel sites is saying that that is not true. But there have been conversations, apparently, according to Tar Heel 247, in regards to what the administration may do. Now, that's coming on the heels of a story that was broken last night by WRAL television in Raleigh, North Carolina, in which a North Carolina cornerbacks coach, Armon Hawkins, has been suspended. But the reason he was suspended is not something that is going to make the headlines and be some salacious story. He basically gave some sideline passes to some parents. And the NCAA is slapping North Carolina hard. You can't even say anything. But anyway.
They should have just stolen signs and won a national championship.
Right?
They would have gotten off easier. Yeah.
Pretty much. So this reporter by the name of Andrew Jones, he says the reports on X that Bill Belichick has been fired are not true. Yep. A source with significant knowledge of what is going on chuckled and said the reports are not true. That was as of 11:10 Birmingham time. This reporter goes on to say, that said, potential exit strategy discussions took place this morning. It doesn't mean Belichick will be fired, but preliminary conversations about the situation and its many prongs, effect, etc., were up for discussion. And this writer went on a couple paragraphs talking about what he's heard, about some disgruntled former players, some things that potentially would have happened on the recruiting trail. And then he finished it by saying, this is an opinion, but as of right now, I don't think it's a lock that Bill Belichick coaches the Cal game. The Tar Heel 247 staff has been placed on high alert, though we are confident if something drastic happens, we will either be the first to know or we'll learn of all of it quickly.
But the first to know are always our people in Vegas. So I'm checking out betonline.ag. They have an updated coaches fired, the next to be fired. Leading the way is Luke Fickell at Wisconsin at plus 150. Next, James Franklin at Penn State. Following James Franklin, Hugh Freeze. Following Hugh, Billy Napier. Following Billy, Mark Stoops. And then Sark at Texas.
Sark.
Bill Belichick is plus 1,800. So they're telling us that Mike Norvell at Florida State has a better chance, numbers-wise.
What did you say it was, plus 1,800?
Plus 1,800.
Okay, there might be a phone call made to somewhere. Because all the writing on the wall.
Well, this smoke right here is.
I mean, covering the number of times that Alabama and Auburn's had coaching changes and being a part of Terry Bowden's, reporting it live on the air when Terry Bowden was fired and when Mike Price was going to be fired, when Dubose was going to be. I mean, I've been down this road a couple times. This has all the makings of him not being the coach at North Carolina because they're going to try to fire him with cause.
When they fire him. Who you calling?
Well, you're going to let Freddie Kitchens take it over the rest of the year just like he did last season.
I know, but at the end of the season, Freddie will want the job. But ultimately, who you contacted? Are you calling a Jimbo Fisher? Are you calling a Mike Gundy?
Call Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith.
I mean, he should have gotten the job to begin with.
John Summerall. Yeah, I don't know if John Summerall even takes that call now.
I think John Summerall's in a great position to be a Southeastern Conference coach.
Do you call Sam Pittman?
No.
Do you call Pat's neighbor? Just throwing out names.
Probably better than Sam Pittman.
Right?
Probably so. I mean, don't you agree? You've covered a lot of these.
Yeah.
I mean, has this not got the fingerprints?
It does.
Like we're doing everything in our power. And then basically, you contact, I don't even know who represents Bill Belichick, but you contact Belichick and you say, okay, here's the deal. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Come up with a health situation. Like, I've got, I got bit by a deer that had Lyme disease and I got to go get that taken care of or something.
So I know that this is for a lot of things we were talking about with the book and his interviews and things like that. So he doesn't have an agent. But for his business stuff, Jordan's been his agent.
Yeah, she's the CEO of
So I
whatever.
legitimately wonder if they were to go down this path, is she the one that's going to negotiate on his behalf? I mean, seriously. Because that's what she's been doing for his business. Side hustles, whatever.
Surely she's not negotiating.
I mean, surely not, but
it's undefeated.
he doesn't have an agent. Don't worry, Mama's going to take care of you.
But you're right. Even with these reports and the guy saying, well, that's not happening right now. The truth is somewhere in the middle. I don't think this was just dreamed up that they're having these conversations.
Well, for him to say that obviously some big heavy hitters are having a conversation.
It wouldn't surprise me if Bill Belichick's already bored with it all. And he's ready to just go
How
do
could you
something
tell?
else. Well, he's always so
He just leaving
excitable
like
anyways.
these drunken voicemails on Tom Brady's phone. Tom, I miss you, man. I'm so sorry.
You left me.
We had something so great.
You
Was
let
it-
Bobby come between us?
Was it this previous week or the weekend before where Saban actually criticized North
Ooh,
Carolina
yeah.
and Belichick
I'm trying to remember.
on game day?
Because this past
Saban-
week, I think, is when they had Bill on game day, like, on the field or whatever, doing the interview.
Yeah, because Saban's always got to get his profanity in during game day.
Oh, yeah.
And he got it in this last weekend when he was talking to Belichick. But I think it was the weekend before he had taken a shot at North Carolina.
It tells me that he offered Bill some advice and Bill didn't take it.
Probably so.
Tom, I never thought Jimmy G was more handsome than you, I swear. I promise, Tom.
So we'll continue to
You
follow that
still have
story.
those Uggs. You still wear the Uggs. Send me a picture of the Uggs. Miss you.
I do really wonder what goes through Bill Belichick's mind right now. I mean,
You think Belichick ever just he's sitting there with a glass of whatever he drinks late at night and just starts drunk dialing folks? Pick up the phone, Kraft.
well, if he doesn't already, he'll have some free time in the near future to do that, it sounds like.
Golly. So good. All right, so I guess we'll keep our eyes open for anything happening in Chapel Hill, Pat.
Yeah, I'm just reading all the wonderful comments in the comments section of their.
I'm sure the Tar Heel fans are begging for him to stay, right?
Oh yeah,
I was going to throw out a proposal, which happens first, but I'm not going to do it. You guys know the two situations I'm talking about. It would be an interesting vote. Who gets fired from their job first?
I mean, I guess you'd have to go with Bill right now.
just some of these. It's
The
like,
other person is not a coach.
It's like reading the Jocks text line at times. One guy, what a ride. Next guy, recruiting violations would certainly be justification for termination. Next guy, let's go. What a roller coaster. All I can say right now is wow.
Oh. Wayne texted in Chapel fail.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is good.
That's a good one.
Someone suggesting James Franklin leaving Penn State for North Carolina. Could be a win-win for both sides, Wesley and Chalkville.
I mean,
Not a bad idea.
no, it's not. It's not terrible.
Oh, gosh. Conrad, can you clean this one up, the 1206 text?
Oh, wow. No, I don't think that I can.
Okay. I knew
let's
I
see.
couldn't. I'm going to try.
Bill Belichick is stepping down due to something lasting longer than 4 hours.
Mark chimes in. Great show as usual, guys. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you. Being a Bills fan, I'm loving the North Carolina.
I was about to say,
failure.
if you're a Bills fan, a Jets fan, or a Dolphins fan, you are reveling in this.
Jake says, I imagine players on North Carolina's team as well as UNC administration weren't happy that the Patriots were banned from the team's facilities. That seems a little petty. Seems really petty.
It does.
Bush League.
It's just, I can't go back, and I know Pat mentioned it yesterday. For anybody that didn't see it, it's out there, readily available on social media. But that poor UNC girl, the student there that they had the interview with that they aired last week. I mean, when you have people saying essentially the worst day of my life was when I went to a North Carolina football game, I mean, that's not pretty. That's not pretty. You're a college student and you can't have fun at a college football game? That product must be really bad.
Somebody posted, it said, if this is as bad behind the scenes as being reported, you need to cut bait now. You've lost the team. You've lost the parents. The culture is bad. Word will spread, and you're going to lose all your potential recruits, and we don't have many now. This is on the North Carolina message boards.
So do you think okay, so let's say that this happens. What do you think it looks like? Is it he's getting the full buyout? Is it a, hey, this obviously was a huge mistake on both of our parts. I don't want any hand in this as the head coach. University, y'all want to get rid of me. Let's call it $8 million and we'll part ways. Do you think they'll come to some sort of an agreement like that? Or is Bill, do you think he would hold out for all $20 million?
This would be a great question for Mike Rodak because Mike covered Bill Belichick.
Belichick strikes me as a guy that would hold out for all $20 million.
See, but he doesn't need the money, though.
No, he doesn't need the money, but it's all about appearance.
No, I agree.
And it's
That's
just
fair.
like all the crap that happened between him and Robert Kraft. And then the fact that he couldn't even get the Atlanta Falcons job.
I think Belichick, whatever he's been asked to do as far as being embraced, kind of enduring himself to the North Carolina fan base, he probably believes he's gone above and beyond and feels like he's been asked to do some really silly things at this college thing.
Yeah, maybe so.
So he's going to want every single penny. But it's like Pat said, it's more about ego.
See, and I just wonder, though, with the ego side of it, too, is, I mean, look, nothing's ever going to take away what he accomplished with the Patriots, but, I mean, his legacy does not look as good as it did 5 years ago. So at a certain point, if you're him, do you just throw your hands up and say, I want to walk away now because I don't want this to get any uglier and really tarnish my legacy? Because, I mean, I'm sure he still wants to be remembered as one of the greatest coaches of all time, and I think right now a lot of people maybe that's not the first thing that comes to mind.
Hanging on too long.
It's a perfect way to describe it.
Because you do have a portion of the population that they don't remember the dynasty. They remember you losing football games, your young girlfriend, and running a football program even further into the ground.
And I understand why he didn't want to walk away when Tom left because, right, he wanted to prove that he could do it without Tom Brady, which he could not. So at this point, I don't know. If I'm Bill Belichick, I'd probably just put my hands up and walk away and say, let's try to forget about this.
Someone texts in, all roads lead to P-Town.
Sure, the mom could use an extra pair of hands around the shop.
Bill, we just got a box of...
Of what, Landrum?
They look like lifesavers. Ooh, look at all the colors.
Did you know they put rubber in lifesavers now?
Oh, Bill. How old is he?
He is
73?
72, 73,
72?
yeah. Let's see.
He likes to get out on the water. He's still got the boat.
He is
Buy a really big
73 years young.
Reality
Landrum.
show. You and Jordan. Just cruising off the Atlantic coast.
Maybe that's how they could make good on their Hulu deal, right? Because they had to back out of the North Carolina documentary. They say, "All right, we'll erase the film, but you and Jordan are doing a reality show."
Boating with the Belichicks.
Do a crossover episode with the Kardashians. That'd be great.
It's my first mate, Jordan. Hey, Jordan. Jordan, say hello, everyone.
And it's just him wearing the outfit in the mermaid pictures, with like the raincoat and the hat on. He just looks so depressed the whole time. That's the whole show.
Jordan, I think the bilge pump is out. I want to check it.
I didn't think we'd end up here this quickly with Bill.
Apparently this morning, Jeff Saturday, former North Carolina player, he went on ESPN and absolutely said that this thing's in disarray. He says he sees a threat to the long-term vision of the football program. Let's not forget Paul Feinbaum was on Get Up yesterday morning. Yes, that's right. He was on ESPN.
He was on ESPN?
I know. It's crazy.
Wow.
Probably won't be for long. But anyway. Did I say that out loud? I am so sorry. Can you edit that? Can you turn that off?
No, I don't think that I can.
I think it's passed.
Paul basically said that he's the GOAT in the NFL, but he is on a path to being the worst college football coach in history. That's what Paul said yesterday on Get Up.
Okay, worst transition, Bill Belichick in college or Urban Meyer in the NFL? Which one was worse? That's
a ponderous question right there. We'll save that for a Twitter poll question.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. Someone suggesting Bill and Jordan make their own Pam and Tommy Lee boat video. Alrighty. Jason playing the role of
that was actually funny. That was good. That was good.
Playing the role of Jordan's mom at the P-Town exotic whatever store. Bill, we just got delivered a box of Conehead bubblegum.
That's good. That's good.
This is a good idea. If Belichick appears on Golden Bachelor, would all the women be under 25?
There you go.
I can tell you this, Bill ain't showing up for over 30.
Conehead gum.
That was pretty good. I knew this was going to come. Thank you, Wayne. I'm not going to read it. Oh. Why was Bill expected to win games after the whole roster left, though? NIL.
70 new players. 70.
The GOAT. All the Super Bowls. Coach Tom Brady. They were going to leave their current rosters and go to Chapel Hill to play for him.
40 came in the summer. 40.
I did think that at some point Bill Belichick would, if he was there long enough, would get them to 6 wins and they'd get to a bowl. But we might never find out. Conehead bubblegum. That's really good.
Text of the day.
Yeah. Trey Wallace will talk to Trey about what's going on in Chapel Hill, as well as all the big college football matchups for this weekend. 3-Man Front continues on this Wednesday on Jocks.
12:23, welcome back in. We are following the story out of North Carolina. Some erroneous reports this morning on Twitter said that Bill Belichick had been fired. The websites that cover North Carolina on a daily basis, including the 247 site, said that is absolutely not correct. He has not been fired. But apparently there have been preliminary discussions amongst whether it's the administration, bigwigs around UNC, whatever the case may be, but it's definitely something that is on the table. I was just reviewing USA Today's their coaches' salary rankings came out this morning. And as of December 1st, 2025, if North Carolina fires Bill Belichick without cause, he would be set to receive $20.833 million in the buyout, which ranks as the 33rd most expensive buyout out of the 105 coaches' salaries that they posted on the USA Today website. So $20.8 million if you fire him without cause.
Buy you a lot of bubble gum.
Yes, very much so. So we'll continue to follow that story. Trey Wallace is going to join us at 12:30. We'll see what Trey has to say about this absolutely embarrassing situation that's going on in Chapel Hill.
If this thing goes down during the season, how does this benefit you if you're North Carolina right now?
Maybe it makes the fan base feel good that you identified a problem and you took care of it quickly. I mean, that's the only positive spin I can think of.
You just built an entire staff, administratively, coaching position-wise, in that football building.
Well, and again, I mean, it was a question that we all had when he got hired in the first place, right? Look, we all know how good of a coach he was in the NFL. He's 72 years old. Like, you're bringing in somebody to change a football how long did you even expect he was going to be there if it did work out? You know, like, it's just kind of one of those odd situations that they put themselves in, even in the first place. It was obviously intriguing, right? We were all intrigued by it, but I mean, this is probably even a worse case scenario than they imagined when they made the hire.
This is not the scenario that I think his son envisioned when he came to join, because what was the theory? Oh, I
don't think they're going to be handing the program over to him.
He's going to set the table for his son. And who knows? His son might do a great job running that program.
Well, then he needs to be running it right now.
But we know that he's not calling the shots right now.
Yep. And he brought Michael Lombardi with, like, that was his guy in the NFL. That was his guy. And he brought all that to Chapel Hill, and it's been awesome.
That's what I'm saying. You just got those people in there, less than a year ago, and now you're going to tell them, hey, by the way, at the end of the season, y'all are all gone.
So when did the new transfer portal changes go in? Because it would be interesting if this was the first case of, all right, guys, you got to wait for the new coach to be hired and then wait 5 days before you can enter the portal. Because I bet there's a lot of guys right now.
It was voted on yesterday, so, I mean, it's in the books now.
Okay. I think there's a lot of guys on that team that probably don't want to be there right now.
You've got the single transfer portal, which is a 15-day window, which will now start on January the 2nd through the 16th. Then they've also added on this little ditty yesterday. Players will, have a 5-day window after a coach is named, a replacement coach. So in the old days, if a coach was fired, you could go get in the portal immediately. That's not the case anymore. So they've shortened the transfer portal window from 30 days to 15 days, and now they have eliminated the ability of a player to leave the program immediately if a coach is fired or he resigns or retires, whatever. So that's a 5-day window. And the NCAA has also announced they have adopted a proposal that will now allow student athletes and athletic department staff to gamble on professional sports, the organization announced this morning. In order for that to be finalized, the proposal must be approved by all 3 NCAA divisions. Division 2 and 3 are expected to consider it during the respective meetings at the end of the month. So Division 1, they've okayed it. So you can now gamble on professional sports if you're a player or a member of an athletic department staff.
So then can I not make the argument that my player should be able to endorse a betting service?
Probably not, because that betting service
Would
offers,
also include at college.
Yes.
I think the important question here is, can a North Carolina player bet on the New England Patriots? Because I don't think Bill would be too happy about that.
No, if he found out. Or if you bet against him, it'd probably score you points.
Yeah, there you go. More playing time.
And it's so, I mean, it's not funny, but it just shows you how far we've come, because Rick Neuheisel was suspended at the University of Washington as their head coach because he did an NCAA tournament bracket. And then that little bitty thing potentially caused him not to be considered for numerous jobs, including at one time he was mentioned for an Ole Miss job. And at one time, because we had this conversation with then athletic director at Alabama, he was up for the Alabama job. So
I wonder if this is restricted to just athletes and players, because I know from working with the NCAA, they can't participate in any of that stuff either. It doesn't matter if you're a secretary or you're in some other department at the NCAA. You cannot participate in anything. So I wonder now if they've relaxed that. I talked to a woman, and she's been there for a while, and she said that just because they are so adamant about not participating in like a March Madness bracket, that if there's like a party going on and it's a neighborhood party and they got a bracket and everybody comes in and they're going to throw $5 or whatever, it's just better for her not to go, not to be associated with that. Isn't that wild?
Also, in this rule change, it says that, and it just goes back to what you're asking, Conrad. It says that any rule change regarding gambling on professional sports would not impact the NCAA's regulations prohibiting advertising and sponsorships associated with sports betting for NCAA championships. So there you go. So you cannot endorse something that actually takes wagers on NCAA championships. We will talk to Trey Wallace from Outkick, get his thoughts on whatever's going on in Chapel Hill and the future of Bill Belichick. That's next. Oh, the good old Kenny Rogers. Did you like Kenny Rogers Roasters?
All expression, yes.
Did you like that? Did you like that
Yep.
chicken?
I used to go to the one right there on 31 in Hoover.
There used to be one in Roebuck.
Then I would stop by the Blockbuster Video right next door.
That's a good night.
That was a great Saturday night. You kidding?
Speaking of Saturday, Trey Wallace, our next guest from Outkick, he's going to be in the Pacific Northwest in the beautiful town of Eugene, Oregon. As Oregon will be taking on the Fighting Signettis of Indiana. That should be a really good game. But before we talk about that, Trey, first off, welcome to the show. Always great to hear from you. Hope you're well.
Yeah, guys, I'm doing great. I got to make a pit stop in Mobile while I was in the Tuscaloosa area to see family, and now I'm going to get on a plane for 4.5 hours. So it should be a fun week.
Are you going to go by Delta House when you get to Eugene?
I don't know yet. I don't know how I'm going to play that yet, if I'm being honest with you. I really don't. I think I need to get there first because I'm having to fly into Portland. And then go to Eugene. So it's going to be a travel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we talk about what you saw with Diego Pavia and Johnny Manziel over the weekend, I want to ask you about this developing story because I know it's been refuted, but there are some interesting stories coming out of North Carolina at this hour in regards to the future of Bill Belichick. Do you think that ultimately the Tar Heels are just going to punt this situation and try to dump him mid-season? They're going to let this thing play out? What are you hearing?
There are boosters. There are folks within the athletic department. There are obviously fans. Frustration is mounting in Chapel Hill, and rightfully so. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that just is not helping the perception of North Carolina football right now under Bill Belichick. And I, personally, could I see them going their separate ways after the season? Yeah, I could. But you also have to remember AD Bubba Cunningham is going to be out. He's already said he's going to, not resign, but he's retiring, going off, leaving North Carolina. And so you look at the whole situation, guys, and I just feel like this is just one big mess. And in talking with numerous folks around the program, they look at it as, oh, goodness, we made a mistake. And I think that you're not going to have Board of Trustee members step up and say that because, remember, there were two different coaching searches going on at the same time. Like Bubba Cunningham is over here to the left, discussing John Summerall, Matt Campbell. Okay, who's the college coach come in? Then you got the Board of Trustees on the right, and they're all sitting here like, okay, Belichick's interested. Let's go make a splash. This is going to help. We're going to raise a lot of money. This is going to be great. Look at our exposure. So it's been a mess from the start. And so now you look at it and what they're doing on the field, man, I think it's just only going to get worse after that shellacking by Clemson.
Based on your expectations, Trey, how was it there at Bryant-Denny Stadium taking in Alabama and Vanderbilt, which was a really cool crowd? I had to keep reminding myself that Vanderbilt, and I knew it going into the game, but this is for Vanderbilt. What we saw at Bryant-Denny Stadium, it was kind of wild.
It was fun. I honestly did not know what to expect. I really didn't, because I didn't know if the fans would look at it as, okay, it's just Vanderbilt. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to get hyped up for Vanderbilt. But then I think, midway through that second quarter, fan realized, wait a minute, this Vanderbilt team's actually pretty good, so we better step it up. I thought the atmosphere was fun. I thought the first quarter of it kind of felt like a morgue, if I'm being honest with you. But then, Diego Pavia and them take the lead, and you're like, okay, wait a minute. All right, let's get into this thing. And overall, from the experience level, and even at the game, like you look at it, like if Diego doesn't, I hate to put it all on him, but it happens. You throw an interception, you fumble the ball. If you don't do that inside the Alabama 10-yard line twice, I'm not saying Vanderbilt was going to win that game. But what I am saying is it's a different game in the fourth quarter than what it is. Even if they get out of there with just a field goal on one of those possessions or even both of those possessions. So I think overall, like, it lived up to why I came to Tuscaloosa for that game this weekend. It really did. Thank goodness I didn't go to Tallahassee and watch that shellacking that happened. So I picked the right game, and think I'll be back in Tuscaloosa next week if both teams can get a win this weekend. So yeah, it was a fun experience.
All right, so let's talk about this weekend because Alabama goes and they face another third week in a row an SEC ranked opponent. Only 4 other teams in the history of the conference have ever done that, winning 3 against a ranked SEC opponent. Can the Tide do it this weekend against the Tigers?
I think they can. I mean, I do. I think they can, but I think at the same time, you're going to have to figure out a way to stop Bo Pribula. And I think when we look at what Alabama has on defense, there were times against Vanderbilt where obviously they were rushing the ball a little bit and they were getting some gains. And you got to stop the breakaway plays. I think it was a 65-yard run for Vanderbilt that scored that touchdown. And I thought they did a really good job of holding off Diego. They're going to do the same thing with Bo. And I think looking at him, he's more problematic outside the pocket. I think he's going to present some problems. But here's the flip side to it, guys. Ty Simpson, man, if that game would have been closer, that loss to Florida State, I think we are talking about Ty Simpson as the leading candidate for a Heisman Trophy right now. And I'm not just trying to say that. I look at what Ty has done over the last 2 weeks, and I'm not counting the cupcakes, and Wisconsin is a cupcake this year. Man, he has really just turned the corner. And what we saw in Athens, and then what we turned around and we saw against Vanderbilt, and dialing up that offense, hit receivers across the middle, and he's in control of this thing. And you can tell that he's bought into what Ryan Grubb is doing. So to get to the, now we go to Missouri, you're facing another ranked opponent. Missouri's good, by the way. Like I don't think the number beside their name is. I don't think it's false advertising. I think Missouri is a really solid football team. Now you got to go and you got to play early in the morning. I guess 11 o'clock over there, which is fine. They'll be fine with that. But at the same time, I think that this will present a different type a scenario for Alabama. I think they're gonna run the football a lot more. I think that will then open up the passing game down the field. And you're going to have to stop Missouri's front seven. Like they're going to load the box and they're going to come after Ty and they're going to try to make him and force him into mistakes. Can Ty prevent that? Yes, absolutely. They're going to need the offensive line to step up. But when we look at this, just overall, just the matchup, I think Alabama's got a good chance just of going in there and I don't want to just say like take care of business, but go in there and win the game. I think this is going to be a battle. Like it's going to be 4-quarter battle. I'm just warning Alabama fans that might be out there listening and other fans across the Southeast, across the country. Like, I think this will be, but at the same time, I think Alabama is just on a roll right now. I think what we saw in Athens and then what we saw last week, and then now you go have this opportunity to kind of run a gauntlet before you play Tennessee next week. It just presents a really good opportunity for the Tide, and I do think that they come out of there with a win.
And Trey Wallace, national college football reporter, Fox and Outkick, joining us on Three Man Front and joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. We got a pretty good idea of who Alabama is. We'll learn a little bit more about Missouri, but I'm like you, Trey. I think Missouri, a good football team. As far as those top teams in the SEC, is there one or two that you maybe need to still see more from to be totally convinced?
I'm actually pinning that Ole Miss game at Georgia next week. Like I look at that one and I'm like, all right, we're gonna find out. I don't know how much I can take away from LSU right now, guys. Right. LSU cannot run the football. The offensive line's bad. Garrett Nussmeier is dinged up. I think that's obvious. I don't trust the offensive play calling, though I trust the LSU defense. So, you look at Ole Miss, and I think, okay, let's go see what it's like on the road. You're not going to learn anything against Washington State this weekend. And then you look at the other school, like, okay, Tennessee. Tennessee's got only one loss on the season, and that was against Georgia. Okay, you play Bobby Petrino this weekend. I promise you, Bobby's got something lined up. Bobby's going to do some trickeration on Saturday. There's going to be something weird that happens in that game. Can Tennessee stay focused? And can Joey Aguilar continue proving himself with this offensive scheme that Josh Heupel is running at home, maybe against a rejuvenated Arkansas team? We'll find out in the first half. But that's a storyline you have to follow. And for Georgia, I'm really still trying to figure out if this is a Georgia rushing attack that could be lacking. I don't take much away from a win against Kentucky, and that's no offense to Kentucky. That's just a bad football team, probably the worst in the Southeastern. Actually, they are the worst in the Southeastern Conference. So I think we're a little bit kind of mixed up here when it comes to how do we judge the SEC teams right now, because Texas is kind of, I'm not going to say falling off. I think the criticism of Arch Manning is fair, but man, this flop talk, that's so premature. That's just somebody gauging for clicks online, and I hate to say that, but it is what it is. So a number of teams that I think we're really going to find out. You got to remember, we're only 5 games really into this season, 6 games into the season for some. And I think over the next 2 to 3 weeks, there's going to be a little bit of breaking apart and who's going to start taking those steps forward. So I'm really fascinated. And by the way, Georgia, that's a tough test this weekend going to Auburn. Like, that place is going to be lit. So, as the young kids say, lit. So I think that, I think the next 2 weeks is really going to be a definition for these.
Well, before we let you go, Trey, I do want to kind of focus in on Auburn, because Auburn played very, very difficult road games to start the SEC slate, and now they're at home against a Georgia Bulldog team, and then they got Missouri on the horizon. Just your thoughts on Auburn. Is this a must-win for Hugh Freeze?
I give credit to Auburn's defense for what they've been able to do. I just look at the offense, and I'm like, okay, all right, like what's really going on here? And you can see it. You're not getting a rushing attack. Third down efficiency is just terrible. But I do think this could be, and I hate to say get right game, but it could be a situation where Auburn maybe catches Georgia off guard down the field a little bit, open the passing game up, just see what you can get. I mean, it's not a nothing to lose type of situation, but Auburn needs to win, and they got to stop this slide. There's just a lot of heat on Hugh Freeze in this offense right now, and they need to come out on Saturday and make this a good game. They need to put up some stats on offense. They cannot be as stagnant as they have been, guys. I'm flabbergasted by what they're doing on third down, but at the same time, you're trying to find guys open down the field. Offensive line doesn't present that much time for Jackson, but Hugh Freeze has got to be better with the play calling as well. And the only way you're going to open things up down the field is scare your opponent into thinking you're going to run the football. And if you're not running the football, you're just having Jackson just sit back there in the pocket and either take hits, be hurried, or try to force something across the middle or a 30-yard, fade down the sideline. Like you have to be a balanced attack. And right now, Auburn just doesn't have a balanced attack on offense. So to me, that's what's going to stand out on Saturday night. Can they catch Georgia off guard a couple of times maybe? Can they establish something on the line of scrimmage to run the football? Because if we're sitting here on Saturday night at 11 o'clock and we're talking about Auburn going 2 for 12 on third down and only having 60 yards rushing, and that might be being generous right now, there's just going to be a lot more pressure on Hugh Freeze in this Auburn squad. So I do think they're going to be ready for Saturday night. I do think this is going to be a good game, but my goodness, if we don't get something else from this offensive side, I beg to have that conversation about Hugh Freeze as the coach next season.
If IU goes to Eugene, knocks off the Ducks, are they the number 1 team in the country?
No, my goodness. I was waiting for something like this. Yeah. I mean, you got to jump Miami.
Yeah.
Like, you'd have to jump Miami. If Ohio State goes on the road and beats Illinois, which, by the way, Illinois is playing better since getting throttled by Indiana. But, just imagine that scenario, boys. Illinois somehow beats Ohio State, which I don't think is going to happen, but somehow beats them. And then Indiana goes to Eugene and wins that game. Holy mess. Like, everybody was all up in arms about Indiana last year. Yeah. Wait to see what happens if they win that game this weekend.
Or if Illinois somehow gets in the college football playoff and we're just circling that glaring 50-something point loss that they had earlier in the season, how we get over that.
Right. How do you get over losing by 53
You don't.
points, but then all of a sudden you don't? Right. You're like, what did Ohio State do to lose this football game? Like, that's how we're going to approach this. Like, so this is a fascinating weekend in the Big Ten. Like, a lot of things can get a little bit crazy coming out of this one. So we'll find out on Saturday. I feel for the folks that are going to be out there at 5 o'clock in the morning for College game day, but good for them if they're going to do it. And this is. I don't want to say this is like separation weekend, but I think this is head of the table weekend for a few teams.
All right, safe travels. Have fun in Eugene. Pay your respects at the graveside of Delta House. It's there on East 11th Avenue, and tell Dean Wormer we said hello.
I promise I will, and if I need to, I'll drink a bottle of Jim Beam while I'm there. Jack Daniels.
We'll play a little guitar.
Play a little guitar. There you go. Thanks, boys.
We'll see you. Trey Wallace joining us here on Three Man Front. Lots more to come here on the Wednesday edition on Jocks. .53, always a fun visit with Trey Wallace, Fox and Outkick, headed to Eugene, Oregon as Indiana takes on the Ducks. Exciting weekend of college football in the SEC. Of course, Alabama getting things started with 14th ranked Missouri. 11 o'clock on ABC. Alabama, less than a field goal favorite there. Washington State at Ole Miss. Ole Miss around a 32-point favorite in that one. Oklahoma and Texas, the status of John Mateer pushing to play. But something tells me it will be a game-time decision. Michael Hawkins potentially wasn't that flashy, but you know what you get. But the question I got, Conrad, is if you're Oklahoma, do you have to have John Mateer to beat Texas? I don't think you do.
Probably not. It certainly would make you feel better about the game, but no, I don't think that you do, and I think because of what Oklahoma can do defensively, all right, you probably feel pretty good, right? Can we score 21 points in this game and get out of there? But I will say, this rivalry, especially in recent memory, there's been some wild outcomes. There's some crazy things that have happened.
OU and Texas, you get that at 2:30. Arkansas, Tennessee, and Knoxville at 3:15. Florida at Texas A&M. What if Billy does it again? Reels off another one. We're talking about.
Best coach in the country is Billy Napier when he's a game away from being fired. So
a lot of opportunities on that schedule to save your job, I guess. 6 o'clock for that one. Of course, Georgia and Auburn. They're at Jordan-Hare, 6:30 under the lights on ABC. And South Carolina is at number 11 LSU, 6:45 on the network. Oh, Brian Kelly. After the off week, let South Carolina, Shane Beamer roll in there. This would be one of those spots that he does it, right?
And if you're South Carolina, you probably feel a certain type of way about that game last year because, in my opinion, that game was kind of stolen from South Carolina. And as we know, that would have been a game that would have put them in the playoff last year. So
I had not even entertained the thought, but please, for the love, Illinois, do not knock off Ohio State.
No.
I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that debate at the end of the year. We'll continue. Fourth hour, Matt McLaren in the next hour. A visit from an old friend. We continue talking college football and more right here in your home for college football jocks.